Here Now Livestream, number 20, 2020 whole live streams. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling supported. I'm feeling loved. I'm here. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Oh, I forgot to clean that. Okay, slide this bad boy up. Sweet orange. Transetta, welcome, welcome. Here Now live stream number 20. It's good to see you in the chat. How are you feeling today? Adrian. What's up, Adrian? It's good to see you once again. Here Now live stream number 20. We're here once again. So grateful to see you here. How are you feeling, Adrian? Transetta, you're feeling good, feeling grateful. Same here. We're on the same vibration. I'm feeling grateful. There's nothing like living in a state of gratitude. The simplest way to step into the present moment. Simplest way to remember who we are. Louie, Louie, welcome back to Here Now Livestream. Good to see ya. How are you feeling, Louie? Marvin, yes, I made it. You made it. Welcome to Here Now Livestream number 20. Number 20, we're going strong. So good to see all of you here in this space. I've got my tea. I hope y'all have yours or anything. Something to enjoy. If not, we're chilling. We're vibing. We've got an amazing topic today. I think one we can all benefit from, for sure. I don't know if I asked you, Marvin, how are you feeling today? I just put some sweet orange essential oil on my hands. It smells so good. This has to be my favorite scent, sweet orange. Feeling great. Got a lot done today. Love to hear it. I love that you're feeling great. It does feel good to know that we checked off some boxes on our to-do list and we're putting one foot in front of the other. So I'm happy for you. Louie, I'm feeling grateful to be here. Very nice, Louie. Likewise. It's so nice. So nice to be here in this space, and so nice to just be here now. Be here now. You know, one of something that I recognize the more I expand my own present moment awareness is when we sit in this space of being where we're just looking around and acknowledging the stillness of everything around us, or maybe not even just the stillness, but how everything just is. When you sit in your room in silence and you just look around, you recognize, wow, this is the present moment. This is the moment. And it's only once we get in our head, once we get too caught up in those negative loops, that it pulls us away from the isness, the what isness of the moment. So the more that you allow yourself to be in a space where you're just in this space, if that just makes sense, or you might be just sitting by a tree and just noticing the wind blowing or cars passing by, just the isness of the moment. The more you acknowledge the isness of the moment, the easier it is to step out of that loop of negative thinking, because you recognize what is actually the culprit of the suffering, and you can step into and recognize the isness. And I feel like that's a little neat, I would say, practice of pulling ourselves out of that incessant thinking, the negative thoughts, and this is why when we say, I'm grateful to be here, truly, truly, I'm grateful to be here. Not in the head, not caught up in my mind, not caught up in thoughts or negative emotions, just grateful to be here. Nearly had one of my anxiety attacks again today. Learning about Vipassana helped me today. Vipassana. All right, I'm going to look that up really quick. Louie, also, I'm glad that you found something to help you during that time. something to allow you to step into the present moment. You're doing a great job. Taking care of yourself. Taking care of your mind and your body. All right, let's check it out. Vipassana. It's a meditation, huh? Yeah. It is a way of observing oneself without judgment. It is said to be helpful achieving enlightenment. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is observing the mind, observing the body, observing your emotions, just being an observation of the self. Oh my gosh. You know, I didn't really know there was a name for it, Vipassana, which means to see things as they really are. Louie, that's what you were talking about. That's what I was talking about. That's so cool to know there's a name for it. Oh my goodness. This is a great one. Thanks, Louie. Thanks for the share. Hello, I am Shibi Lolo Indigenous. Welcome to Here Now Livestream. I subscribed to you earlier. Peace and infinite love. Much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence and your positive vibrations. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to my channel. You've come to a beautiful space. Louie, it's the practice that you just mentioned, recognizing the isness of all things. Yes, Louie, that Vipassana, right? Recognizing the isness of all things. It is so powerful. So powerful. Words can't describe it. Honestly. It's literally just being here. And we recognize that we can choose peace. You know, something came to my mind today, and it was something about the term rest in peace. And in my head, I was like, we don't have to wait until our physical body dies to rest in peace. We can rest in peace right now. You rest in peace through recognizing the isness of the moment. That is peace. You're recognizing yourself as peace. You're recognizing yourself as presence. Recognizing yourself as the flow. You are the flow. You know? There might be a moment where you're like, okay, how do I go with the flow? Okay, going with the flow. And then you recognize, actually, you know, the more you step deeper, into that, you recognize I am the flow. I am the flow. And that's a part of this awakening. It's a part of the shift in consciousness. You're very welcome. I am Shibi. I'm going to say I am Shibi for short. Louie, I actually learned the name from a taxi driver when we sparked a conversation about meditation, and he told me in his religion they practice it. Interesting. I wonder, did he tell you what his religion was, Louie? I know that it says one of India's most ancient techniques, so I wonder if maybe it was Hinduism, or I'm not sure. Rest in peace, El Chico. What's up, King? So good to see you here. My voice sounds different today. Does it? Interesting. Is that a good thing? Does it sound like a good different? I am Shibi. Okay. Nice. Glad we're agreed on this. Yeah, man. If anyone just came on, Buddhism, I think. I'm not religious, but it's a helpful practice, as we all know. Of course, right? It's nice, Louie, because a lot of these practices, they transcend any form of, I would say, any group teaching. It's just to to me, when I think of it, it's just a life teaching. And within a religion, or even out of religion, it's a powerful practice to have for anyone. I just think no matter what you believe in, it's a powerful practice, honestly. And this is why I love sharing so much about being in the present moment and things like that. It's beautiful to learn about other like areas of study, other religions, other practices too. And it's also interesting as you observe, or the more you go along your own awakening experience, you recognize how so many of these practices have more in common than you might think on the outside. It's like that. I don't know if you've ever seen that graphic, but it's like one person has the ear of the elephant, one person has the tail, the foot, and ultimately it's all the same thing. So it's very interesting to recognize that. It's nice. It's actually refreshing to always remember that there's still so much connection throughout all teachings, religions, whatever it might be. Ronan, peace, Ronan. So good to see you here. Welcome back to Here Now Livestream, number 20. We're going strong. El Chico, your voice sounds higher. Not a bad thing. I guess my voice goes high and low. It might change throughout the live, high, low. I guess it depends on my current state at the moment. Thanks, El Chico. I am Shibi. I'm at the peak of total awareness. When thoughts start to take over, it feels good. At the peak of total awareness. Yes, yes, yes. We are the masters of our mind. We are the leaders of our minds. We are the directors of our minds. We don't have to get caught up in it. The thoughts, they don't have to take us over. We lead the mind, When it comes to being a leader, I was thinking about this because that was an affirmation that I used with myself. I said, I am the leader of my mind, as a reminder that thoughts, they don't have power over me. And I was thinking about what it means to be a leader. And often in leadership, we must know when to surrender and when to take action, right? You know you're a good leader when you're in the moment, you're following that intuitive calling, and you know when to fall back and when to lead. And there's moments when our thoughts are flowing through our mental field, and in that time, a great way to begin to continue on and to improve our practice with improving our relationship with thoughts is to recognize when it's time to surrender or when it's time to shift gears. Is the mental activity too much? And in that case, hey, maybe it's just a moment to be still and surrender to it. Or in that moment, is it a time to just say, hey, I've seen this thought before. I've seen you before. I've seen these group of thoughts. I've seen this idea, this vision. I'm not believing it. I'm shifting, right? You shift it. It all depends. And that's one of those practices of improving our relationship with our mind, with our thoughts, with our emotions. Indeed, indeed, indeed. John, welcome back, John. Good to see you here in the chat. So grateful. Here Now Livestream number 20. We're going strong, going strong. How's everyone feeling? How's everybody's day been today? We were just chatting about recognizing the isness of the moment. I learned that vipassana, That's the meditation. It's an Indian tradition, and it's called Vipassana. I like to call it recognizing the isness of the moment, because everything just is. And when we lose sight of the isness of the moment, you can bring yourself back when you're aware enough. It's that simple. It's that simple. Fabulous. I am Shivi. Louis. He told me that he felt the need to tell me about Vipassana, because he went to a retreat abroad and practiced it for a while. But then in his religion, he said he strayed from it. So he sinned. Interesting. Yeah, sin. Sin is definitely a religious, religious terminology. But also, I learned to, I don't know if you all have ever heard of the book A Course in Miracles. It's a thick book. I started reading a little bit of it, and I learned a lot about that word, sin, right? We hear it a lot in religion, right? So specifically for me, I grew up Christian, so definitely heard the word quite a bit. But I learned that sin is like based on what the book said, right? Sin is basically forgetting that we are not separate, right? So healing is remembering that we are one. That's something that I recognize about the word sin. And I know I recognize it gets taken as like, when you hear it, like immediately you might feel like shame or guilt or something like that. But ultimately, that's what I remember reading about that word. It's forgetting the essence of who you are, that you are not separate, that you are in fact a part of the whole. And a big part of our healing process is just that's what spiritual awakening is. That's what it is. You awaken, you're like, whoa, I'm not this individual. I'm not only this individual, I'm beyond it. Right? It's very interesting. John, I would love to join one of your live streams. John, I do have some plans. What I'm going to do, I'm not sure what YouTube does, but on Instagram, I'm able to chat, like add others. So I'm going to continue Here Now Lives on YouTube, but I'll have, I'm going to somehow figure out with my schedule how to add on to Instagram, so I'm able to chat with y'all and bring y'all on and talk for a bit. It's a good idea. Thanks, John, for sharing that. Louis, so they use it differently in the religion. They feel if they don't practice it, they fall into sin. I feel sin means inadequate according to a book. I don't personally want to live my life feeling I'm not enough because a book made by someone I don't know. I am Shibi. Sin is operating outside of I am when I am is. There you go. Right. So that's essentially, it's interesting, right? Because that's what happens, right? So with sin, if we say sin is operating outside of I am, sin is forgetting, right? It's forgetting that we are not separate. Often it's like when you're not in meditation or you're not practicing the Vipassana, then you do forget. But like you said, Louis, it's not very helpful when you're feeling that sense of guilt and shame, because all that does is create more separateness. It creates more ego. So it's very interesting around how these messages are shared. And that's one thing I learned through observation and realization. And that's why a big part of what I like to share and how I share is ensuring that on our journey, we move forward with compassion. We move forward with understanding with ourselves. So we're not feeling that guilt and shame, because it's really not even necessary. It's really not. I think a big part, we came here, hey, it is what it is. We didn't remember, but we're here now, and we are each and every day, we're living our lives, we're being here now. Remember how we spoke about accepting your state of consciousness, right? We're not trying to reach an idea of enlightenment, because that idea is actually what causes suffering. The more we choose to accept this moment and accept ourselves wholly and fully, the more we're here in the present moment. And that's actually, the more present you are, you end up being in a state of enlightenment. It's very interesting. Just wholly, you don't have to go and do these hardcore practices. Honestly, the simple practice of being here now is everything. It's absolutely enough. There's no shame. No need to shame ourselves. Louis, we are enlightened beings. Indeed, we are. We are. That's why stepping into the moment, right? Intimacy. I just said it opposite. Enlightenment is intimacy with all things. So the more you invite presence into your life, the more present you are, you recognize that. We spoke about last live stream, the importance of appreciating the small moments, small things in life. That's another practice of expanding our present moment awareness. It's another practice of expanding our awareness, stepping into a state of enlightenment, being here fully. Life is simple when we let it. It's so simple when we let it. And if it doesn't feel simple in the moment, it's all good. Agree with how you're feeling. It's all a balance. It's so interesting. It's all about bringing your fullest awareness to where you are, and in some form agreeing with it. It's always agreeing with the moment. Ronan, it's easy to get caught up in knowledge. I spent the last 3 years researching deep about everything I could, but at the end of the day, it's just about being present in the moment that matters. Yes, yes. Ronan, that is why I feel so inspired to share, to really inspire others to come to that exact realization. It always comes down to being in the moment. You can know a lot. You can learn a lot. You can read books. I love reading books, right? There's nothing wrong with it. You can go, you can search, you can do this and that. But at the end of the day, what matters most is you being here now. You being here fully, recognizing the isness of the now, recognizing that you are the flow. And certainly you'll see a transformation in your life. You'll see a transformation in your life perspective, your relationship with yourself, the people around you. Yeah, you hit it on the nail, Ronan. One thing I'd like to say is what I appreciate about reading books is it provides this intellectual, how would I say, counterpart to the awakening process. Often we have certain experiences, and we may not be able to put words to it. We may not be able to describe it. But then we read a book and we say, that is what I experienced. Now I can put it into words. Now I could share it. And that's a lot of my personal experience. It's been a mixture of both. Me having my own experiences and learning to put words to it, then learning about something and then putting it into practice. It's been a very, interesting cycle. Putting it into practice and then teaching it and sharing it. And so that's why I say gratitude for all things and recognize that whatever information you need, whatever insight you need, it always comes to you in the moment. It always comes to you in whatever way you need it, Louis, I feel the same. Before the stream, I thought to myself, searching for new information a lot. I came from a place of the need to improve, but I am enough in this moment as I am. Indeed, indeed. That's something I've been thinking about too, as someone who coaches others. There's this understanding of that recognition of I am enough in this moment, right? Knowing that you are enough in this moment. But simultaneously, it is shifting your relationship with the word improve, right? Improve doesn't mean that in this moment you aren't enough. You might actually feel an inclination to do something differently. Maybe to shift your behavior, to shift your thought process, to shift how your relationship with your emotions. So it doesn't become this battle within yourself, this war within yourself, that it's like, I'm not good enough now. I'll be good enough in the future when I reach this goal. That point of view is what causes suffering. That's when the mind, it starts to use us rather than us using the mind. It's having that healthy balance, that expanded awareness, right? That in this moment, you are enough as you are, right? I am. I am. You step into that state of I am. And then when you step into that state, you recognize the wholeness and fullness of who you are and what you are. And you feel that deeply, no matter what level of consciousness you're on. There's depths to that. That goes deep. But however you recognize it, be there with it. And you put one foot in front of the other and you enjoy life. This is why I appreciate the phrase, we're playing in the world of form. Something I learned by Eckhart Tolle. We're playing in the world of form, right? The more we step into that space of I am, the more we step into that space of I know I am enough as I am in this moment, it's easier to play in the world of form so that we're not taking life so seriously. and things happen in life and we're able to step out of that, not be so caught up in the mind, but if something happens, it just happens. We recognize that the moment isn't necessarily good or bad. That's just a judgment based off of the mind, but the moment just is, right? And this is when we start having that shift in consciousness. We talk about emotional stability, emotional regulation. We talk about a healthy relationship with the thoughts, even healthy relationship with negative thoughts, right? Recognizing that we are far beyond it. It's just a thought. All of it starts to shift. All of that starts to shift. Louis, I look at it as more of choosing to do something different because it resonated. Choosing to do something different because it resonated. I like that, Louis. Indeed. That's it. You just choose to do something different, right? We talk about not having to do things because you feel like you have to, right? You do it because it resonates with you, because it aligns in the moment. Improvement, right? Doing something different because it resonated. There you go, Louis. You just shifted in your relationship with the word improve, or you created your definition for it. And that's a that definition and term, it actually, it aligns with being here now. It takes out any form of shame or guilt or ego. And it allows you, like I said, to be as present as possible in the moment. In the moment. In the moment. El Chico, I don't really like to think about being enough, because that means you're thinking about some standard, even if it's yours. Because you could be enough today, but tomorrow your standards can change. I think the term being enough, when I speak about being enough, El Chico, is that recognition of being in that space of stillness, that space of spaciousness, the Tao, right? That which that really can't be named. It's in that I am. When you step into that I am, right? That is the being enough. And so then when we speak about because you could not be enough today, but tomorrow your standards could change, that's when we step into another dimension of being, right? There's like two dimensions of being, those aspects of ourselves. And this is just simplifying it. Obviously, there's so much more, but it's in a very simple term of like when we're here in this form as a recognition of ourselves as that individual, then there's those moments when we're saying, yeah, I'd like to improve, just as Louis shared, improved, right? Where you're saying, okay, today I'm doing this and tomorrow I'm going to do something different. And then the next day, yeah, just like you said, El Chico, my standards are changing. So now I'm going to shift and I'm going to change. That's that flow. It's once again bringing back that playing in the world of form, and that recognition that they're recognizing that aspect of you that is enough. That is enough. And when you can recognize that aspect of you that is enough, there's that comfort when your standards begin to shift. It's not this feeling, that need of, oh man, in this moment I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. It's just I recognize that in order to build this, in order to create this needs to change. This should be done differently. This should be done differently. And this should be done differently, But, we all have our different ways of seeing that. But that's ultimately what I mean by that. El Chico. I like the idea of wholeness, being whole. Abundance, not just enough, but abundance, overflowing of love. So more than enough. I see what you mean. It has more to do, I would say, with your relationship with that word, for sure. Yes. For sure. I am Shivi, El Chico, wholeness and power. El Chico, I'm overflowing with self-love, indeed. I feel like for me, myself, the word enough, it feels great. As well as wholeness, as well as abundance. I get what you mean though now. Saying enough as if it's like just this, but there's more, right? I understand that. I feel like that is tapping into two different aspects of that word. When I tap into like language and recognizing like I am enough, right? Or I've had enough, right? It's very interesting, like diving into that, into that word. I had a message for y'all today. The title of this stream and the intention that I wanted to share in today's live was all about overcoming the fear of asking for help, right? The journey to empowerment. How many of y'all here in the stream ever feel like you find a block or resistance when it comes to asking for help? Louis, when it comes to enough, I see it more as I am enough for myself, regardless of everything and everyone else. There we go. Yeah, I feel that too with that word. But it's all about, right? Words are words, and we put those meanings to our words, right? It all encompasses, right, the mind. And when we step out of it, it's awareness. It's beyond it. It's always about our relationship to the language we use. This is why affirmations are so important. Enough. I like to say too, is like, even if going on the vibration of enough, it's like, when we think about the present moment, often what the minds might look for, the ego might look for, is the ego might find that the moment is not enough, that the moment is not sufficient, that the moment is not everything it needs to be. And often an affirmation that I like to share with myself is, this moment is enough. This moment is whole. This moment is sufficient. This moment is everything we need, right? And that's another form of understanding enough. Another way to look at it, I would say. Now I want to look up the definition of enough. We're like diving into this. Hold on. End up changing the title of this live stream to diving into the word enough. It's very interesting. Look. Enough, as much or as many as required. Sufficient, adequate, ample, abundant. Abundant. So enough does carry that vibration of abundance. I mean, that's just a definition. That's what I looked up. That was a synonym. Oh my gosh, a synonym. A synonym to enough. Abundant is one. I mean, yeah, they definitely, I would say, if we tap into like deeper with language, there could be a bit of a difference when you say sufficient versus abundant, but it still holds it. It depends. Whatever you want to say to make yourself feel better, honestly. Thank you for sharing, El Chico and Louie. I do appreciate every point of view on here. It's very helpful. It's expansive. Louis, what do you think about setting standards for yourself? The whole attitude of not settling for less. All right. I think that's a great question, Louis. When I think of that idea of setting standards, right? Not settling for less. What it makes me think about is, what do I feel is adequate enough to be in my environment? What is going to help me remain aligned with who I am? What people are going to allow me to be aligned with who I am and evolve and transform? What things, like what's going into my mental field? Music, content, television, movie, right? When I think of that idea of standards, it's stating a sense of self-awareness around my environment and what's going to water the seeds for my growth. So if I settle for less, what that immediately makes me feel like is like my energy is being drained because I'm settling for less. I'm not taking part in a regenerative relationship with what's around me. So when I settle for less, I end up feeling drained. I end up feeling like I'm giving and not receiving. And so that's why I find that there is an importance to set a standard. Just in that aspect. I know this can break off into different branches and things like that, but in general, that is my idea of that. Louis, yeah, I'm with you on that. I just didn't want to feel a sense of lack from settling, even self-imposed standards. Right, there you go. And so even then, that's shifting your relationship with the moment. So if you feel that your standard in the moment, if you might feel it's too high, there's no shame in shifting it, right? Like we talk about SMART goals. We've been talking about SMART goals. Sometimes we might set a goal that is not reachable. It's just not reachable. It's just not doable in the moment. It doesn't say anything about your value of yourself, your capabilities of yourself. It just means, hey, that's not realistic for me right now. So I'm going to create a goal that is reachable, a goal that I know that is actually going to water the seeds of my environment. And that's a big part of self-awareness and knowing ourselves and creating goals that are reachable. It's ultimately a strategy. How can you create a strategy for yourself that allows you to step into your highest timeline? Because if there's goals that are not reachable, then you might attempt to reach a goal and then you don't reach that goal. And then your self-worth dwindles, and that's why it's so important to be aware of that. So yeah, it's so important. I wanted to share, on the topic of this is asking for help. And I think that I can say that my friend here, El Chico, I learned so much about the importance of asking for help, the importance of community. We chat about community a lot. The importance of needing others. We really do need each other. Today I shared a message on the community chat. And the message was, asking for help brings us closer to our true nature. We break free from self-sufficiency and embrace interdependence, opening up space for deepened connections, greater support, and trusted relationships. I like to talk about that word interdependence, right? When we think about the workings of the universe and the nature of reality is interdependent and interconnected. Every event, everything that happens, it's interdependent and interconnected. What's happening a mile away from you can affect what's happening in your neighborhood. What's happening in the cosmos can affect what's happening here. Tonight is a full moon. The full moon, it affects our behaviors. It affects our perception of reality. Sometimes when the full moon is lit and it's bright, often you may find yourself not sleeping, sleeping less. You might find that your dreams are incredibly vivid. You'll find that your creative abilities, your manifestation abilities are peak during full moons. This is that recognition. This is, I would say, dissolving the illusion of separateness. I think that based on the society that we live in, self-sufficiency is promoted a lot. I would say in societies that are very independent, more independent, just more independent, right? Because there's cultures that are more group oriented, and then there's cultures that are more independent. And sometimes with this idea of self-sufficiency, it can turn into more of a dysfunctional behavior where we don't ask for help because we feel like we can do it ourselves. And that ultimately creates stress and overwhelm and strain, when in actuality we can look around and ask and take a bit of weight off of our chest. Adrian, talk about interdependence on the 21st live. All right, written down. We'll dive deep into that. But I mean, technically, even this is this live right here is a form of interdependence. This right here, right? Why were we asking for help and things like that? What I appreciate about this live is another form of interdependence, as we're all here and we're chatting about our different perspectives on language, our different perspectives on meditation. We're coming here and us sharing our ideas and coming together, we're helping each other. We're helping each other expand our awareness. We're helping each other dive into things that we may not have thought about until someone else said something. And that ultimately, it helped us, right? Louis, we help each other all the time and we don't even know it. As a collective, the whole attitude of doing it all yourself is an illusion and unrealistic, I think. Indeed. I like that too. Have y'all ever heard the phrase being self-made? I think it's like on the Forbes list of self-made billionaires or something like that. It's very interesting, that term, self-made. I actually curious as to how they would define that. I don't think anyone is technically self-made. All of us have been influenced by so many around us. The way we see the world, each of us, we all see the world in a very unique way. And a lot of our uniqueness has been influenced off of witnessing others' uniqueness. And also other people have helped us along the way. Your parents, your family, your friends, a stranger, someone has helped you. So for me, I'd be interested to know what exactly that term means. But yeah. Louis, I was self-made. I told my mom that. I like to dive into, like, what are the different reasons? Like, why do we fear asking for help? You told your mom that. Sorry. Why do we fear asking for help? I had a moment this weekend where I had to open up and I had to be vulnerable with my friends about asking for help. And this asking for help was more of like support. Just a support on this journey that I step into as stepping into my purpose, and more specifically, being an entrepreneur. Louis, I get it. Don't worry, I got the joke. So I had to ask for help, and it was kind of nerve-wracking to say, hey, here's a need that I have as an individual. It will be nice to just be like, hey, how's your life going? How's this going? Sometimes we have to tell that to the people around us. They don't know that. In our mind, sometimes we think others may know what we need, but no, we use our voice. And a lot of times we may not even know exactly what we need. So it does take moments to be with ourselves in solitude, with ourselves, in understanding, hey, what do I need right now? And what do I need from the people around me? A reminder that you are not alone, right? When you ask for help, when you have that courage to ask for help, it's a sign that you feel safe and supported in your environment. It's a sign that you trust your relationships and the people that you're around. And even if there's a fear there, consider it this way. Asking for help is a way for you to deepen your connections with others. There are so many people who are willing to give. Especially if you find yourself afraid of asking for help, that means you are one of those people who are a giver. Givers and receivers. I think both are great. I think it's very important, though. I find that giving tends to get a lot more priority than receiving. It seems like, receiving, it takes a bit more stillness, a bit more comfort with that, right? Surrender is receiving. And we have to learn how to surrender because receiving is a form of letting go of control. Receiving is a form of letting go of control. And that's why many times it does feel a little scary. Because when you're giving, you have more control. When you do start stepping into that space of asking for help, there's a sense of empowerment there. Often we find that we need to be self-sufficient, so we don't ask for help. But I find that asking for help actually makes you more self-sufficient because you start to expand your resources. You ask for help, you learn more, and then you're able to do more things on your own, right? You don't necessarily need to feel like you're becoming dependent on anyone, but you're just saying, hey, I don't know this right now, and I'm just going to ask. And then you learn, and then you're able to do it by yourself, like cooking, or like tying your shoe when you were a kid. You had to ask your mom or dad or your teacher or your siblings to help you, and then you learned how to tie your shoe after that. And then it continues. It begins to expand. If we start to shift our awareness around that, we start to be more comfortable with that. And I do recognize that, yeah, man, you are put in a place of vulnerability. I felt vulnerable when having to ask for help. But what feels so great on the other side is recognizing that I am very safe in an environment. I'm in a safe environment. I am in a supported environment. I am surrounded by people who love and care about me, and I couldn't be more grateful. And if you find that the opposite happens, well then now you know that the people around you are not for you. Louis, we talk about standards. If you find yourself in an environment where you're asking for help and you're not receiving it, especially in cases where you have been giving and you have been putting energy into that space and you haven't received it, then it's up to you to decide whether that is up to your standards. And if you don't feel like the cycle of giving and receiving is balanced, it's really not up to par. It's not up to your standards. Because it's not, I would say, it doesn't help your evolution. It doesn't help your transformation. Louis, I feel it's just unrealistic to ask for help. I feel it's just realistic to ask for help. I don't feel immaculated just because I can't do something. So I ask someone else. It's common sense for me. That's good that you feel that sense of comfort with asking for help, Louis. It's a good sign that, you feel supported in your environment. 7-7 Vans X, asking for help can be an opportunity to bond and offer a different kind of help to others. Indeed. There's so many different perspectives in this world. This world is all filled with perspective when it comes to the mind, when it comes to thought, when it comes to belief. Beliefs are just a multitude of different perspectives, none necessarily holding the ultimate truth. Well, the ultimate truth is beyond belief, it's beyond thought. So when we ask for help, we allow ourselves to expand and step into different worlds, to step into different realities. We bring that into our awareness and we're like, right? I just learned something new. Learn something different. I just stepped outside of my comfort zone. And it allows you to connect with others, right? We talk about, in the message that I shared, that asking for help allows us to tap into our true nature. Our true nature is oneness. As we have a shift in consciousness, our true nature is oneness. And so the more we ask for help, the more we feel that oneness, the more we can surrender to the moment. The more we can trust, the more we can build community, The more we can recognize and see where there are certain ideologies and there are certain, I would like to say, trends in the media that like to reinforce separation. Whatever it might be, it reinforces separation. What does that do? That pulls us away from recognizing our true nature. Recognizing that we are actually all way more the same than we are different. And with those differences, instead of it being a threat, we can embrace it. We can learn about other perspectives. While simultaneously embracing ours, we can learn and open ourselves to others. We don't have to necessarily adopt other beliefs, but we can learn to be aware of it, know that it's not a threat, and we don't have to create enemies. Adrian, do I use agave? Every once in a while I use agave. I mostly like drinking tea by itself, just a tea bag. I'm honestly not a sweet tooth. I don't really go for sweetness all the time. Every so often I will. I like sweetness, but not all the time. So I just like just the tea bag. I think for me, if I share a personal story around asking for help, it really is giving awareness to your environment, who's around you. And I was able to see throughout the multitude of friendships that I had where I felt safe asking for help and where I didn't feel safe. And often, one of the ways that we begin to be more comfortable with that and stepping into that space of vulnerability is who we're around, is who we're with, being with the right people. I find that if ever you feel that you are in a space where you might feel a sense of shame or a sense of fear around it, positive affirmations are another great tool for allowing that to be a part of you, allowing that aspect of you to embrace itself. There's an aspect of you that doesn't want to ask for help, and then there's an aspect of you that does. And often when we affirm that part of ourselves that does, we step into that reality where it becomes easy, where we can create community. I got a couple affirmations for y'all. Right? I'm worthy and deserving of receiving help. I release the ego's fear of vulnerability and open to receiving help. I'm deserving of kindness and understanding, and asking for help brings me these gifts. We talk about heart-centeredness, right? This is like bringing me to how we deal with certain loops of negative thoughts, right? That's huge. A big foundation on this channel is how I share specifically the way I break free of the cycle of negative thoughts and negative emotions, freeing myself from that. And a big part of my practice is heart-centeredness. A big part of my practice is self-compassion. Recognizing kindness within myself, understanding myself. And when you begin to feel that and it becomes a reality to you, that is what you attract into your life. People who are kind, people who are understanding, people who are supportive, people who are caring, people who make you feel comforted, because that's you. That's the vibration that you're on. So you're going to attract that. And then you don't have a fear of not having that, because that is who you are often. I mean, one can even say that when you are super kind and compassionate or giving, that you will also attract people who may want to take advantage. But that's also another practice of recognizing self-worth and knowing when to say no and standing up for yourself, A whole nother journey. But an important one to expressing yourself authentically, taking care of yourself, having standards, setting standards. Indeed. that was a little bit I wanted to share with y'all about asking for help. Yeah. Let's do a little gratitude. A little gratitude talk. How's everyone feeling? What is everyone grateful for today? Plant-based incense. Check them out. Link down below. Boop, boop. Ronan, I feel like being your own source of help is key. Indeed. You know, when I think about, that's always comes first, right? It's building that relationship with yourself. When you begin to trust that you can help yourself, you can trust that you can help others. You know, sometimes too it becomes the opposite. Sometimes it does require others to help you for you to trust yourself. It really depends on where you're at. But ultimately, for me, I find that having that intention to recognize that you are your own, you're that source of help. It is a great practice for not being dependent on the outside world, right? I think that's something to talk, there's a difference there, right? Being dependent on the outside world for help versus asking for help, because the outside world can help you relax and surrender, if that makes sense. Your community, the people around you can help you ask and can help you surrender. So we don't get too caught up. So the mind doesn't create this separation of, you know, I need to do this by myself. I need to do this by myself. Like I said, it's a balance. Definitely a balance with that. I don't even know which incense I picked. I just grabbed one. I think I grabbed dragon's blood. Dragon's blood. Yes, dragon's blood. Experience the natural difference. Our incense is made the old-fashioned way from scratch with raw natural ingredients, which include spices, coconut, charcoal, wood powders, tree saps, aromatic oils, dragon's blood. Dragons are cool, man. How are y'all feeling? What's everyone grateful for? I had a little something here. A big aspect of asking for help is practicing gratitude. Truly is. The more you are grateful, practicing gratitude around your environment, the people who help you. One affirmation that I like to share with myself daily is, I am surrounded by safe and supported people. It's so interesting when you observe your mind. You're sitting in stillness, you become in observation, and you recognize that shift in how you begin to affirm positive thoughts and how that dissolves the negativity that you may have once lived in, you may have once got caught up in. Ultimately, when you begin to affirm to yourself these more high vibrational ideas and thoughts, that becomes your reality. That's when we talk about using the mind rather than the mind using us. You are programming your mind. You can think of your mind like a computer, and you are intentionally programming your mind with thoughts and ideas that resonate with you, that move and shift you to where you know you need to be, having that inclination, right? Intuition. And following that. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I mean, we can have a whole, gratitude can be broken down like deeper, deeper, deeper. I mean, hey, that can even be the 21st live stream. I have an idea for it too. Louis, I feel taking those small steps to grow helps build that bond and trust with yourself when it comes to being the help for yourself. Indeed. Taking those small steps to grow helps to build and trust. Taking those small steps to grow helps to build that bond and trust with yourself. Yeah, it's always that one step at a time. One step at a time. Always knowing what you need in the moment. And I could just say that it's been both like in my personal experience when it comes for help. I recognize that the more I help myself, the more that was mirrored into my reality. The more that I saw people coming to me and wanting to help. You know, often there are people outside that want to help us, but we may not fully recognize it or see it. We may not fully receive it because we haven't allowed ourselves to receive it, you know? So that's why it does in many aspects, in many ways, start with our perception of it. But like I said, it's like two things. I feel like I'm like going pinball in my head. Because it comes down to oneness. It's like I am you and you are me. In that there aren't really boundaries between the inner world and outer world. In that when you shift your inner world, your outer world eventually mirrors that. And if your outer world is showing you and giving you help, that's actually a mirror that within you, that's an aspect of you that is alive. Like, if that makes sense. The outer world, in many ways, that love that you receive, it mirrors the love that's within you. Yeah. Adrian, maybe I should try dragon's blood. Yeah. Dragon's blood is actually one of my favorite scents. Smells really nice. Just Sean, what's up, King? Thank you for moderating, moderator gang. What's up? I'm grateful for growth and all the help I received that got me to this point. Yes, yes, yes. Gratitude for help. I feel that right now. I feel that. Gratitude for every single person that shared insight with me, every book I read, every experience I had, every person I crossed paths with. What else? All my dark moments, all the suffering, the silence, all the good moments. What? I could just go on to name so many that got me to right here, right now. Right here, right now. I think people can help us without even directly asking for help sometimes. It's hard to actually know what way you need help. I kind of mixed the gratitude section and the help section. Sorry, y'all. I think people can help us without even directly asking for help sometimes. Yeah, it's hard to actually know what way you need help. Hey, sometimes we may not fully know where we need help, so there are others who know how to help us, right? That's another beautiful sign of help. Is that, hey, we may not know it, but maybe somebody else recognizes that and can help us, you know? For sure, for sure. So I would say, on the lines of gratitude, Jean says, I'm grateful for growth and all the help I received that got me to this point. And I would also say, I'm grateful for the courage to ask for help. I'm grateful for the courage to step into a space of vulnerability and ask those around me for support when I need it. Because often, sometimes, that's what life does. We might continuously say, hey, I need to do this myself. I need to do this myself. But then life will stop you for a second and it will redirect you. It will redirect your direction. To connect with others. Whether it's the friends you've been hanging out with or maybe a stranger or an acquaintance, maybe your family. Help is a great way to deepen your connections, to build trust in relationships, and to truly feel empowered within yourself. So I'm grateful for the courage to ask for help. Adrian, there can be times where life helps you without the need to ask for help. Indeed. I would say life does that for us all the time. Life is directing us and guiding us. Indeed. What else are y'all grateful for today, in this moment? What do you feel grateful for? Something came to me where I recognize how different points of views arise within the chat, right? Where we recognize needs where we must directly ask, and moments where we notice where the universe will do so for us. I think ultimately it's just a reminder that we're not alone. Once again, you're not alone. Whatever that word is, I would say whatever that vibration within that word, like the word alone, it has this vibration of lack or emptiness or just an illusion. I feel like that word alone, it holds this vibration of illusion. So when you step out of the word alone, whether it be through the universe helping you or you directly asking for help, you step out of that illusion, right? Gratitude for that. Louis, I'm grateful for the present moment. Vipassana and being enough. Standards, asking for help, self-help, choosing what resonates. I can go on and on and on. Love it. Love it, Louis. Yes, yes, yes. Marvin, I'm grateful that I'm not in the hospital anymore after being there for a week for extreme anxiety. I'm back home and feeling better. Marvin, I'm sending you so much love. You are so strong. You're home now. And your strength is very inspiring for you to go through such extreme suffering, to be back. So I'm sending you so much love, letting you know you are so inspiring, and Very grateful to have you here and share that with us. Just Sean, I'm grateful for my mind, good health, my shadow self, nature. The list goes on and on. I'd be typing for a while. I love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Let's keep typing. Live in a state of gratitude, y'all. When we talk about present moment living, when we talk about stepping out of this negative loop, when we talk about transcending these experiences, right? When we feel that, those feelings of worry, gratitude is grounding because it's real. It helps us step out of the illusion of the mind that takes us into that dysfunctional thinking that we must fear, we must worry. The mind creates this idea that the conditioned mind creates this idea that worrying will get us what it is we want. But it won't. It just drains our energy. And the more you practice and invite gratitude into your life, you recognize that, you know. You give yourself compassion when it does happen, and you do feel worried. Don't shame yourself. You just remind yourself, hey, what am I grateful for? I acknowledge that self that's worrying, but I'm also going to simultaneously acknowledge that space of gratitude. And there you step into the present moment, and there is no shame. Ronan, grateful for health, to being open to receive. Love it, love it, love it. Open to receive. That's huge when it comes for help. Grateful for health. I'm grateful for the compassion on this chat. I'm grateful for the community on this chat, the support on this chat. A reminder that we feel each other. We may not have each other's unique experiences, but on some level we feel you. Because all of us have gone through some form of suffering. So when you share yours, we feel you deeply and we connect. And that is powerful. That is transformative. That allows you to surrender. You tap in with source, universal intelligence, just through surrender. Yes, to worry. Marvin, thank you so much, everyone. Much love to the chat. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. This is a healing space right here. Marvin, yes, worry is not too productive at all. Indeed. It's one of those things, if y'all ever heard the term unlearn, we're unlearning that. It's all an illusion. It's created by the ego, separation, the idea of separation, that we're separate. It's really not that. It's not productive. And you know, a lot of it is we learned it. We learned it. Befriend that worry. There we go. Right? I think that, you know how I like what Sean says when he's like, I'm grateful for my shadow self. Right? Gratitude for that. Honestly, you can even say, I feel gratitude for that feeling of anxiety. I know it might sound crazy. Like, what? What do you mean? It causes suffering. But I can tell you that those feelings are all just, it's a mirror of what requires awareness. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's like a message. Imagine yourself on a journey and you're in the forest and you need a sign to know where to go next. And often that is a sign. So rather than villainizing that which arises within us, we befriend it and we align with it. It doesn't mean that we dive into that vibration and become more of it. It means that we're aligning with it in a way where we're choosing to understand it rather than misunderstand it. When you choose to understand it, you align with it. Rather than villainize it, you align with it. And that's a very healthy practice. I like to ensure that I don't create a war within myself. If something is arising, it's not an enemy, even though it might feel like it in the moment, because that's what suffering definitely does. It does feel like that because it hurts. It's painful. It sucks. Okay. But when we begin to shift our awareness more and more, we recognize we don't need to fear those things. We don't even need to fear the suffering. Emotions, sometimes we feel like emotions will hurt us. Like when we haven't spent enough time with it, that's why in those moments we don't allow emotions to flow. We don't allow emotions to arise without judgment, because that happens because what we must do is shift our relationship with emotions, befriend them, get to know them, understand them. And when you understand it more, you can be more accepting of it. You know, that's why I like those movies, like those Disney movies where they show the villain's point of view. Have y'all ever seen the movie Maleficent? It is the villain of, what is her name? It is not, the villain of Sleeping Beauty, right? Is it Sleeping Beauty? Hold on, let me look that up. If y'all ever seen that movie Maleficent, what they do is they show you the villain's point of view. So now instead of seeing the villain as this bad person, as creating a war, Maleficent. There we go, 2014. Instead of creating a war, you say, oh wow, I understand this person. Sleeping Beauty. It was Sleeping Beauty. Yep. It was based on the evil fairy godmother character. Yeah, Sean. Yep, Sleeping Beauty. I just looked it up. I was like, which one was it? I had the princess in my head, but I couldn't get it out. But yeah, it's like that sense of understanding. And when you do that, it creates less separation. And we can even take that like within, right? You create less separation within through understanding. And the same thing happens in the outer world. You ever realize where you see certain things, and in the beginning, you may have been like, there might have been judgments, right? I like to say, if we're going to talk about real life examples, I'll just say those trends that are put out in the media that creates the divide within society, those headlines that are so divisive. But actually, when you step back for a second, you invite in space and you choose to understand, you recognize that it's more nuanced and that it's actually not that black and white. And that actually others' opinions do add some validity. Even though it might feel like it is black and white, that's what this idea likes to be pushed out as, but in many cases it's not. I think especially the more, how do I say it? Like, the more headstrong you might feel to be in a certain belief, it's actually the least black and white that it is, if that makes sense. Not being attached to thought. Not being attached to our beliefs. The less attached you are to belief, the less you suffer. The less attached you are to beliefs, the less you suffer. The ego feeds off of belief because it creates identity. That's why we see within the collective that dysfunction. That's why we see the fighting, the war, the divide. So when you step back for a second, especially in those moments where you're observing, or maybe you feel like you're attached to a certain belief, you step back for a second, you bring in some space, you recognize, hey, I'm not as attached. You can say it's a mental position. I like that word. I learned that word from my favorite spiritual teacher. It's a mental position. There's an ability, it's a position, so it can shift and it can change. So you're not attached to outcome, right? Attachment to outcome creates suffering. Yeah. So let's light this up for gratitude. I'm grateful for everyone here in this chat. I'm grateful for the support here. I'm grateful for the love in the space. I'm grateful for the growth of the space. We're here in Here Now Live number 20. 20 live streams strong. 20 live streams filled with healing and transformation. 20 live streams dedicated to expanding our present moment awareness. I'm grateful. I was thinking to myself today how this live stream has been a big part of my own emotional stability. So I want to say gratitude for that. Alrighty. Let's repeat it. Gratitude for growth and the help that we've received. Gratitude for the present moment. Vipassana and being enough. Standards, asking for help. Self-help. Choosing what resonates. I'm grateful, Marvin, grateful for health, not being in the hospital anymore. Being home and feeling better. Grateful for my mind, good health, my shadow self, nature. Grateful to have a good support system. After I left everything behind, Marvin, powerful, powerful, powerful. Ronan, grateful for health and being open to receive. Eddie, what's up, Eddie? Eddie, grateful for this live and for you creating the space. Much love, Eddie. I appreciate that. I receive. Louis, reality is neutrality. I like that. There we go. Talking about the isness of the moment. Cheers to that, y'all. Much love, much love. Cheers to that. The vibes are high. This feels like a wand when it's lighting. Cheers to that. I take this moment right here to just be. Kitty. Bless you. Say bless you, everyone. Thanks, y'all. I think, was that for my sneeze? I'm not sure. I definitely was sneezing. Yes, it was Morcie for the season. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate you. Gotcha. You know what's so interesting about these lives is like, I know there's it cuts sometimes, so some are a little bit behind. So it's all good, no worries. You know, before we go into the guided meditation, I wanted to share something with y'all from this book right here. It's called Tao Te Ching. I'm not sure if I'm saying this word right. I know this is Tao. Maybe it's Tao Te Ching. I got to get the word. The Book of the Way. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of this book. It's a great book. I'm going to add it to the book list. I haven't added it yet. But the first page, I really loved it. So I'm going to share it with y'all really quick before we step into meditation. A little live guided meditation, you know? A little Here Now Livestream exclusive. Okay. Here goes. What is the Tao? The Tao that can be understood is not the eternal cosmic Tao. Just as an idea that can be expressed in words is not the infinite idea. And yet this ineffable Tao is the source of all spirit and matter, expressing itself. It is the mother of all created things. Not to desire material things is to know the freedom of spirituality. I repeat that. Not to desire material things is to know the freedom of spirituality, and to desire them is to suffer the limitations of matter. Yet these two things, matter and spirit, so different in nature, have the same origin. The unity is the mystery of mysteries and the gateway to spirituality. 1 second. Take that in. I'm going to let my cat out. Come, Bubs. Louie, I went to say reality goes beyond words, but it autocorrected to reality goes Beyonce. Oh gosh. What I appreciate about this is how ultimately it removes the mind trying to figure everything out. Just that. The mind trying to figure out what awareness is, what space is. We use the terms, at least I do. I have a couple spiritual teachers that I'm very inspired by, that have been an influence for how I share what I share and an influence for my practices. So the words like awareness, stillness, space, those are just words, just like the Tao says, right? The Tao that can be understood is not the eternal cosmic Tao. They're all words. They're pointing to the moon, just like Buddha. He's pointing to the moon. Oh, this is a full moon. Oh my God, I see the moon out. I'll talk to y'all about that right after this. I see the moon and it is shining so bright. If y'all get a chance, check out the moon. It is so bright. Okay. What was I gonna say? Yeah. When we talk about that space of just uncertainty, that space of infinite possibilities, present moment awareness, So much of that encompasses the Tao, encompasses the what cannot be expressed into words, right? Just as an idea that can be expressed in words is not the infinite idea. This is why so much of life, so much of spirit, of our awakening, it requires us to improve our relationship with the mind. This is why when we talk about the term quote unquote spiritual mastery, and we feel like there's something we need to master, that's actually the mind. Because we already are, right? So it says here that yet these two things, matter and spirit, so different in nature, have the same origin. This unity is the mystery of mysteries and the gateway to spirituality. On this live, we were talking about, at least in the beginning, 2 dimensions of being, right? Recognizing, I would say, our awareness of the I am, which is what we can say spirit, and the matter, what we can say maybe this individual. So we can say the oneness and individual, right? Matter and spirit, a human being. So different in nature, yet the same origin, right? The unity is a mystery of mysteries, a gateway to spirituality. I appreciate this. It's a reminder. One of my main forms of, when I sit in formal meditation, one of my main forms of meditation is being. So it allows me to be in a space of no labels, where for a moment, even if it's just for a second in that day, even if it's just for a couple seconds, even if it's just for a minute, there's no attachment to an identity. And when I say identity, there's no attachment to age, to gender, to life path, to career, to culture, to ethnicity, to whatever labels out there. Just for a second in that moment, you're being. You're beyond the busy mind. You're beyond all of this mental activity. In that space, it's a beautiful reminder. It's a reset. And I think in that space, this is where there's a sense of some form of awareness around the Tao. There's no words. I'm not going to try to figure it out. Just going to be. So there you go. Yeah, this book right here, I'm going to add it to the, check out my Amazon book store down below. I'm actually going to add this. I didn't add this. So check it out down below. That is another way to support this, live stream. So if you want to support this channel, the live stream, if you would like to support me, be sure to give this video a like. Comment in the chat, comment on the video, share it with someone. I appreciate everyone who has supported this channel and this live stream in some way, whether it's a super chat, whether it is a like, whether it's a share, whether it's a comment, whether you gave me a donation in PayPal. I want to state my gratitude. It's so beautiful, so amazing, and I appreciate it. El Chico, love that book. El Chico, I remember you actually told me about the book. I remember hearing about that first page through my favorite spiritual teacher, but I never knew what book it came from. I actually, you know what? We'll maybe add reading a section of this to it. Like I said before, I appreciate what it does is it allows the mind to stop trying to figure things out. Because you know what? It's really nice to just not try to figure things out all the time. It's really nice to just surrender for a moment. Just be. And just be. And feel safe there. Feel safe there. Louis, I still haven't gotten around to reading The Power of Now. I've seen it today and keep seeing it. It's like it's screaming to be read. Louis, you got to read that book. You have to. Take this as another confirmation that you must read that book. You know what? Hold on. Bam. You read that book, you will totally get the inspiration for this live stream. What do I have here? I'm just flipping to a page. Flip. Something is highlighted here. From The Power of Now. If you are dissatisfied with what you have got, or even frustrated or angry about your present lack, that may motivate you to become rich. But even if you do make millions, you will continue to experience the inner condition of lack. And deep down, you will continue to feel unfulfilled. Listen, no moment is more valuable than this moment. No future ideal, no moment of that. When you practice recognizing that this moment holds just as much value as any other moment, even if that other moment in the future is an achievement, is like a huge accomplishment. You earned a certificate, a reward, whatever it might be. Even that moment doesn't hold more value than this one right here. The moment where you might just be sitting on your bed in your room. If you are dissatisfied with what you have got, or even frustrated or angry about your present lack, that may motivate you to become rich. But even if you do make millions, you will continue to experience the inner condition of lack. And deep down, you will continue to feel unfulfilled. I think for me, what stands out there is the inner condition of lack. No matter what you might manifest in the outer world, it will not cure the inner condition of lack until you give awareness to the inner condition of lack. You may have many exciting experiences that money can buy, but they will come and go and always leave you with an empty feeling and the need for further physical or psychological gratification. You won't abide in being, and so feel the fullness of life now. That alone is true prosperity. Feel the fullness of life now. That alone is true prosperity. I feel that. There is no other moment more valuable than this. The now. The now. Remind yourself of that every single moment. This is why it's interesting. I started off sharing reality transurfing, and I'll definitely keep talking about it. It's beautiful. We must learn, all right, that we are master manifestors. It's beautiful. To really go in depth with understanding the nature, another aspect of the nature of reality and our ability to manifest, right? Clear intention plus elevated emotion. We create our reality, all right? So you can manifest whatever you want. You'll see it in the world. Everyone's manifested something. We're manifesting something in this very moment. We're manifesting. But no matter how much you manifest, that will not, I would say, it won't solve the inner condition of lack. That all comes from present moment awareness. That all comes from feeling the prosperity of life right now. When you live by that, you'll find yourself led and guided through abundance, through wholeness, through sufficiency, through feeling enough every single day. You'll flow with the moments. Hey, some days you may not feel that you have as much energy as the day before. There's nothing wrong with that. You're flowing with the moment. There's seasons for everything. I spoke about it. Tonight is a full moon. Does anyone, do any rituals with the full moon or ceremonies? I know I am. All it is my way of being here now. Acknowledging that with the full moon comes a different energy, different behaviors, different thoughts that would come with a new moon or a waning moon or a waxing moon. It's just my way of doing so. There are many, many other people who do the same. If you're not into that, it doesn't matter. We all have our different ways of celebrating the small moments, of celebrating being here now. But in many ways, right? That part was powerful. I just flipped to a page. So, Louis, check this book out. And if you do decide to get it, check out my bookstore. It's there. And anyone here who's interested and who has not read this book, do so. I think it's a classic of what you read when you're on your awakening process. It's one of those classics. It's just a classic. It's just a classic. Yeah. A wonderful book. All right. Eddie, that's true. You always have to go within. Going within. When you go within, you go beyond. You go within, you go beyond. Louie, I remember watching your video about that. Yes. Yes. Alrighty. Let's flow into guided meditation. I'd like to do the guided meditation for body scanning tonight. And I'd like to take us into experiencing being. I'd like to lead and help facilitate that for y'all. It's beautiful. I'll repeat that, being. Being is when you being is a state of consciousness. Or even if it's just for a moment, there's no attachment to label, no attachment to identity. You are fully present. The ego dissolves, and all of this happens naturally because you step into your truest nature. You don't have to try. You don't have to try to be you. You don't have to try to be in your fullest in your true nature. So let's do that, and we'll start it off with a body scan, and yeah. Alrighty. Wherever you are, find yourself in a comfortable position. You can be upright. You can lie down. Whatever is most comfortable for you. Ensure that it is a position that allows you to be alert and aware, so you can Experience this moment to its fullest. Begin by becoming aware of the natural inhalation and exhalation of your breath. Throughout this meditation, whenever you find yourself getting caught up in thought, just return to your breath. It's as simple as being aware enough. No need to try. No need to yearn. Just the flow. Awareness is love. Whatever you give awareness to, you give love to. Awareness is life. Whatever you give awareness to, you give life to. Breath is life. Whenever you give awareness to your breath, you give awareness to life. Take this moment to bring your awareness to your body. Scan your body. Start with your toes to your heels, sending your breath to that aspect of your body. Shift your awareness from your heels to your knees. Your knees to your hips. your hips to your chest, your chest to your shoulders, your shoulders to your elbows, your elbows to your palms, your palms to your fingertips, scan your neck to your jaw, your jaw to your entire face. Take this moment to bring awareness to the entirety of your body. Notice the life that you are. Notice energy pulsating as you breathe in and out. When we bring our awareness to our body, we open the door to being. We step out of the confines of the mind. The incessant thought loops and any emotions that go along with those thoughts. When we scan our body, we step out of the mind and into being. Here we're reminded that life is simple. Life is simple when we let it. In this space, we feel a comfort in being no one and no thing. In this space, we're reminded that we are beyond the busy mind. Our connectedness with universal intelligence is evident. No trying, no yearning, just being. Take one conscious breath in. One conscious breath out. Scan your body and experience the joy of being once more. Throughout the rest of the night and your day, return to this state of consciousness whenever you need. It is your natural state. It's always here. home for you to return to. Thank yourself for this practice. Thank yourself for opening up space to experience the joy of being. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Open your eyes and return when you're ready. Louis, I am not my body, not my mind, not my brain, not my thoughts or my feelings. I am not my DNA. Marina. Body scanning is a spiritual practice that I use every day, especially when certain feelings arise within me, certain feelings of worry, of stress, of anxiety. What that does is it takes you out of the culprit. It takes you out of the suffering and into something more grounding, something more real, which is your body. And that is that opening and that door into being. That door into going beyond. Even at night, when there's moments when I find myself having difficulty falling asleep, I'll do a body scan or a body scan. And often find myself falling fast asleep. So I encourage you to invite this practice into your day-to-day. It's a practice of self-love, self-awareness, stillness, beingness. It takes you out of the mind just for a moment, especially for those who feel like there's so much activity going on within the mind. You do get a break. You really do get a break when you bring awareness to your body. Let's see if I can do this really quick. Almost there. What the? It's not this side. No, it's not this side. It's this side. What the? Alright, well, I don't know why. Hold on, I'm gonna... Eddie, you're very welcome. Louie, I feel so calm. Same here. It's so great. Love it. Eddie, I have a sound bowl too, but I need a new leather piece so it can make the sound. Yeah, I'm wondering if I do. I don't know why. I've been trying to do it. It's very, they're healing. I gotta get a sound bowl for Here Now Live. I mean, this is technically one, but it's also like an art to it. Lots of patience. I've used it before and it worked. I'm not sure why. Hold on. See, I don't want to use this part. You're not supposed to. It's this. It's not that. Alright, well. It's very clear that I need a new one because there's nothing happening here. I feel incredibly calm after that body scan. That was very nice. Eddie, yeah, it is usually way louder. This is a sign. I need a new one. It's all good. It does its thing when I kind of hit it. Does its thing. I want to... I believe your fabric is made of cloth. It is made of cloth. Like a velvety cloth. It's so weird though. Unless I'm not... Hold on. Alright. New sound bowl coming soon. I really think I just have to... The leather works. It makes a sound resonance. Alright. I'm going to look for a leather one. I want to thank all of you for being here and Here Now live streams. Thank yourself for being here. You can be anywhere else, but you chose to be here. So thank you. Thank you for your positivity. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your perspectives. Thank you for being a part of this space. I'm sending y'all peace. I'm sending y'all love. And I'm sending y'all continued presence. I'll see you all this Tuesday for Here Now Live number 21. Sending y'all peace, love, and continued presence. Peace. Just Sean, rest in peace. Indeed, indeed, rest in peace, y'all. Ronan, peace and love, peace and love. To everyone on this live stream, just want to shout it out. Ronan, Just Sean, Marvin, Eddie, Louie, El Chico, Adrian. Seven Vans X. I gotta get my cat. She's outside. She wants to come in. I am Shibi, John, Trenzetta. Thank you all for being here. Anyone else who is watching live and may not have been in the chat, and everyone else watching the recording. Much love, much love. Until next time. Live in a state of gratitude.